So, I had an interesting video series idea, and it was rating classic horror games. So, we're going to start with none other than my favorite horror game of all time, FNAF. I guess FNAF 2 was my favorite horror game of all time, but you get the point. So, from a horror standpoint, it's not that scary to me anymore. When it first released, if you ask me, it would have been one of the scariest games I've ever seen, right? Anymore, no, it's not really that scary. Every now and then a jump scare will get me, but the games themselves are not scary. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10 spooks for the horror factor. Now, for a gameplay fact standpoint and just how good the game is, I give it an 8 out of 10. Still to this day, one of my favorite game franchises of all time. Yeah, there's a lot of like the game theories and whatnot. That aspect of it, I really like watching like game theories videos on it. And then, from a theory standpoint, a story standpoint, pretty good story. There's a lot of stuff to work with theories, and I think that's really cool. And then the gameplay, for the time, it was very unique. Most indie horror games were all the same. Basically, Slender, the original Slender, the 8 pages, set the bar. It was the golden standard for horror games. And so a lot of games like, Vanish, SCP, so you're running from a monster. And you're trying to collect stuff. Vanish, you're running from the mole man and you're trying to get the key to get out of the sewers. SCP, you're running from 173 and Radical Larry, Billy and Radical Larry. There are a lot of different guys which I think that's an interesting thing about. But that's an interesting thing about Containment Breach, but I'll get into that in a separate video, right? But yeah, most of them, they were pretty much all the same. And then FNAF came out, it was super different. You're stationary, you're defending yourself from them. Instead of running away from them, you're physically stopping them, which I thought that was really cool. So as a gameplay, I'd never seen or played anything like it. So that's really good. There are a lot of games like anymore. There aren't really any games with unique mechanics. Most games are very much the same, especially when you're looking at first-person shooters like Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield. But then when FNAF came on the scene, it was different from all the other games in its genre, and and that was one of the things that really set it apart in my head. Anyway, so like I said, overall, I give this game an 8 out of 10. Let me know in the comments what you want my next game to be. All right, I'll see y'all on the flip side.